What if I told you that one of the most disruptive companies in the travel industry today started as an idea between two roommates who couldn't afford their rent? Stay tuned, because in the next few minutes, we're going to dive into the incredible journey of Brian Chesky, the co-founder of Airbnb, who turned a simple idea into a billion-dollar business that transformed how we travel forever.
The best advice I ever got was from Paul Graham. He was our first investor, and he said, he basically said, there's better to have 100 people love you than 1 million people that just sort of like you. And so he said, just do things that don't scale. Focus on those 100 people.
In 2007, Brian Chesky and his co-founder Joe Gebbia were struggling to pay rent in their small San Francisco apartment. But instead of giving up or getting a second job, they came up with a brilliant yet simple solution.
One other thing happened at RISD. I met my co-founder, one of my co-founders at RISD named Joe Gebbia. And one day Joe says, Brian, I think one day we're gonna start a company together. Well, I'm living in LA, working as an industrial designer, and I remember my life, and you may be confronting these decisions, where everything in front of me in my life would looks like everything behind me. In other words, the road is like a disappearing road into the horizon.
Renting out air mattresses in their living room to attendees of a local design conference who couldn't find hotel rooms. They charged each guest $80 a night and called their new business Airbed and Breakfast.
And so Joe had 3 airbeds. He had gone camping and he had kept some airbeds, and we pulled the airBeds out of the closet. We inflated the airbeds and we called it the Airbed and Breakfast. And that's where the name comes from, airbedandbreakfast.com.
At that moment, they had no idea that this small side hustle would evolve into a global platform used by millions of travelers worldwide. But how did Chesky multiply his initial earnings into a multi-billion-dollar company? Let's dive deeper.
Trying to raise money, I want you to know that Airbnb was trying to raise $150,000 at a $1.5 million, I think, post-money valuation.
Brian Chesky didn't have a lot of money when he started Airbnb, just $1,000 to be exact. But he had something much more valuable: determination and the ability to solve a problem that many people didn't even realize they had. He and his team were relentless in building a solution that connected people looking for affordable, unique accommodations with hosts willing to rent out their homes. They began with a simple website, but it wasn't an overnight success. In fact, they struggled for months to find investors who believed in the idea of staying in a stranger's home. One of the key lessons you can learn from Chesky's journey is the importance of persistence. At one point, Airbnb was on the brink of collapse. Chesky and his team were so desperate for funding that they sold custom-designed cereal boxes featuring presidential candidates, Obama and McCain, just to raise a few $1,000s. But that's where another Chesky trait shines: creativity. He found a way to keep the company alive during its toughest moments, which is a valuable reminder for any entrepreneur.
Stage of the startup. The first stage is, I think, survival, meaning like you're not meant to survive. So you start this company, you have this idea, and everyone's telling you you're crazy, you can't get any money, you can't raise any money, your co-founders, you don't even know if everyone's gonna keep working on it. And so I call that like survival.
Sometimes you have to think outside the box, literally, to survive. Fast forward to today, Brian Chesky is now worth an estimated $9 billion. Airbnb itself is valued at around $100 billion. That's a long way from the $1,000 he started with. So, what can you take away from Chesky's success? First, start small, but dream big. Airbnb didn't start as a massive global enterprise. It started with just air mattresses on a living room floor. Chesky didn't wait for the perfect idea or the perfect time. He took action with what he had, and that's what you need to do too. By the way, if you're finding this story of entrepreneurial grit inspiring, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more insights on how you can grow your own business. Leave a comment with your thoughts, because we've got no sponsors here, and we rely on your feedback to keep creating content that matters. Chesky was 27 years old when Airbnb started gaining real traction. His first big success came in 2009 when Y Combinator, a prestigious startup accelerator, finally invested $20,000 into Airbnb. This investment was a turning point. It allowed Chesky to improve the platform, expand the team, and scale operations. From that modest $20,000, Airbnb rapidly grew, raising millions in venture capital over the next few years. Early on, the founders realized that the design of their platform wasn't attracting enough users. Instead of giving up, Chesky and his team flew to New York, rented professional cameras, and helped their hosts take better photos of their listings. This dramatically improved bookings. The lesson? Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty and do what's necessary to perfect your product. Today, as Airbnb has become one of the most recognizable brands globally, Chesky is focused on investing wisely. He has mentioned that a significant portion of his wealth is tied up in Airbnb stock, but he has also diversified his investments into real estate and startups that align with his personal values, particularly those that are aimed at solving global challenges. Early on, however, Chesky wasn't investing in real estate or the stock market. He was reinvesting every dollar back into Airbnb to improve the platform. That's another crucial takeaway. When you're just starting out, reinvest your profits into scaling your business rather than spending them. Now, Brian Chesky is 42 years old in 2024, and despite his massive success, he continues to work on Airbnb as CEO, pushing the company into new markets and experiences. His journey is a testament to how relentless problem-solving, adaptability, and persistence can turn a small idea into a global phenomenon. Chesky believes in creating meaningful experiences for both hosts and guests, and that focus on community has been a cornerstone of Airbnb's success. But the question on everyone's mind is, how is Brian Chesky investing his money now? With an estimated net worth of $9 billion, Chesky's financial strategy involves a balance between personal investments and maintaining a large portion of his assets in Airbnb. A significant chunk of his wealth is still tied up in Airbnb stock, showcasing his confidence in the company's long-term success. He believes in the future growth of Airbnb, especially with the increasing demand for unique travel experiences post-pandemic. Chesky has also diversified into real estate investments, purchasing properties in key cities such as New York and Los Angeles. These aren't just any properties. They're luxurious, high-end homes that also serve as Airbnb listings. Chesky's real estate portfolio complements the very business model that made him rich. By investing in prime real estate, he continues to support and grow the Airbnb brand while increasing his personal wealth. In addition to real estate, Chesky has started investing in startups that align with his core values, particularly those focused on sustainability and social impact. He's looking at long-term investments that reflect his belief in making the world a better place. Chesky's approach to investing is not just about making money. It's about supporting the next wave of innovators who will create solutions to global challenges. Whether it's tech startups or social enterprises, he's choosing ventures that align with Airbnb's mission of connecting people and building communities. While a large portion of his wealth is in stocks and real estate, Chesky also employs a conservative strategy for asset management, with financial advisors guiding him toward diversified investments that include bonds, mutual funds, and other financial instruments. This ensures that his wealth continues to grow steadily, balancing the riskier tech investments with safer, long-term assets. It's a lesson that every entrepreneur can take to heart. Once you achieve success, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversification is key. Before we wrap up, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more in-depth stories about successful entrepreneurs and actionable tips you can apply to your own business. Brian Chesky's story proves that with creativity, persistence, and a clear vision, you too can turn a small idea into a billion-dollar company.